In this video, we'll author our Lambda function in the console using the Python programming language. Our simple function will output your name and the phrase, "Keep being awesome." If you notice here, I have 3 tabs open. The first is the AWS Management Console. The second is the GitHub link I provided to you. This is the code for our function. The third is the code for our test event. Now let's navigate back to the AWS Management Console and let's go to the Lambda console. In the search bar at the top, type Lambda and then select it. This brings us to the Lambda dashboard. To create a new function, click Create Function over here on the right-hand side. You have several options. We're going to choose this Author from Scratch option because I've given you the code already. Under function name, type my function. Under runtime, make sure you select the latest version of Python, whatever that may be for you. In my case, it's 3.7. Under permissions, let's expand change default execution role. Anytime a Lambda function runs, it's going to assume an execution role to determine its access permission. So what can it do? What does it have access to? In this case, we're going to create a new role with basic Lambda permissions. And all this will do is give the Lambda function access to Amazon CloudWatch logs. Scroll down to advanced settings. We don't need any of the advanced settings for our simple scenario, no code signing, and no VPC. Over here on the right-hand side, click Create Function. And this may take a minute. Great, now we've successfully created, and I just want to explain to you what is going on here in the code. On line 4, I'm creating a message variable, and I'm assigning to it hello. And these are like placeholders, keep being awesome. And then here I'm getting the value passed in for first name, the value passed in for last name. Here on line 7, I'm printing a message to the CloudWatch logs. And on lines 9 through 11, I'm returning the value in this message variable. Okay, now let's navigate to the third tab. This is the code for our test event. Copy this and let's go back to the Lambda. And the first step is to click on this arrow next to the word test and click Configure Test Event. We're going to create a new test event. Let's call it My Test. And this is where we copy and paste the JSON. And let's click Format JSON. I like this better. It just makes it easier to read. Here on line 2, get rid of this and replace it with your name. On line 3, get rid of that and replace it with your last name. Notice first underscore name is going to hold your first name and last underscore name is going to hold your last name. Then click Create. And now it's created the test event for us. In order to test it, click on Test. And you'll notice the execution results. And we see here, hello, Keisha Williams, keep being awesome. Notice in the response window down here, the duration and the build duration. The duration is the execution time, and the build duration is the time you're actually billed for. Feel free to play around with changing the test event. To get back to it, you click on this orange button and you click Configure Test Event, and it defaults to the test event that you just created. So you can change things here just to play around. But great job at testing your first Lambda function. Now we're going to look at the CloudWatch logs. In order to do that, click on this Monitor tab. This shows high-level CloudWatch metrics about our function, the number of invocations, the duration, the error count and success rate, and more. We need to see detailed logs in CloudWatch. In order to do that, click View Logs in CloudWatch. And this opens a brand new tab, and it brings up the CloudWatch logs for our function. When you come to this screen, the most important part is log streams. And this shows the logs across multiple executions of your function. So you may have multiple log streams. Click on the most recent one. And here it shows when the request started, when it ended, the duration and the build duration. And here, let's expand this. It also shows the output. So remember, we had that print statement in our code. The print statement actually produced this message in the log file. Congratulations for creating your first Lambda function using Python. I think you are officially a coder.